Before I go, I want to tell you something about my life.
Sure. Okay, Mum.
I've decided to tell you this now before they put me on all the painkillers and I get all loopy.
Mum, please don't talk like that.
I was a nurse still. I know what it looks like. I've got end-stage cancer. My body is dying, and when the pain is too much, they will fill me with morphine, and that's the way I will go. But we are not there yet. It's okay, my love. It's okay. So, before I go...
You said you wanted to tell me something.
I did. It's something I have never told anybody. It's always been my own secret thing. But I don't want it to die with me. There's not many of us left now. Those of us that lived during the war. The last true war. I was 11 years old in 1938. It seems so long ago now. But I remember us kids. We had that natural childish resilience and energy. When the air raid sirens would scream into the night. In my little bed every night, I imagined that there was a bomb coming right to our little house. I had a little gas mask with a daisy on it, and my mum, Nanny Bell, would scoop me and my brother up in her arms and take us to the makeshift shelter at the bottom of the garden. Once or twice, I felt my little bones shake inside my skin as the blast of a nearby bomb would rip through the air. It was impossible not to let my mind wonder if it had fallen on a little house like mine. Was there a little girl like me? A little girl in her nightie, holding to her mum for dear life. I think I almost disassociated with the reality of it. The sheer terror and violence of it.
That must have been such a hard thing to grow up with. You never spoke about the war much when I was growing up.
A child's mind is not designed to comprehend such a thing as war. A man-made thing. War is no place for a child's mind. We would have a few hours to play after school, and before it got dark and the lights were all switched off, we would turn all of those wandering thoughts into games. The war was everywhere around us, part of the landscape created around us, a playground of death and destruction. Unexploded bombs or shrapnel. My brother and his friends would go hunting for any signs of evidence of war. It would always end play fights and mock war games, and claims of great bravery in the face of Hitler and the Nazi bastards. I didn't go in for the scavenging in the games. My mind has always been happier away from the noise and crowds. My favorite thing to do was wander off from the boys and investigate the bomb sites. The ruins of the houses that had been hit, it was like a curiosity. It turned into a fascination. The idea that I could walk around the crumbled remains of a family home. Sometimes there would be half a staircase blown away, or burnt photos and toys that were once so important to somebody living. Somebody like me. The thing I loved most was the silence as I walked around the graveyard-like remains of the bombed houses. I don't think I knew it at the time, but it was therapeutic for me. It helped me connect with my confused feelings about the devastation and seemingly uncontrollably cruel world in which I lived. It was nothing compared to those brave men. They laid down their lives for us all. We can never forget. It was in one of the houses, the ruins of number 32 Purple Drive. I saw him.
Saw who, Mum?
His name was Hans. He was a pilot, a German serviceman. I've never told anybody.
You met a German soldier? You never told me that. What did you do? Did you tell Nanny Bell?
The thing is, Hans was a ghost.
A ghost? What do you mean, Mum?
He died in the war. He was just a kid, really, only 19 or 20 years old, but to an 11-year-old girl he was very striking and, well, handsome.
Are you sure they've not started you on the drugs already, Mum?
You see why I've never told anybody about him. I knew people would laugh at me. Even though he was a ghost, he spoke to me.
What about? Did he speak English?
We spoke to each other. The thing is, we never spoke out loud to one another. I would go climbing around the house, up to the rafters, and run my hands over the walls. And I could see him and hear him. We would tell each other our deepest thoughts and feelings. He hated the war. He longed for peace and to be free to walk in the fields and mountains of his motherland once more. He missed his family and his friends, and his sweetheart he left behind. I told him how scared I was about the bombs, about my dad somewhere out there in a distant land fighting the Germans, never knowing if he'd come home again. Together we eased each other's troubles and fears. He helped me see through the fear of distraction and death. Knowing Hans was like knowing light at the other end of the tunnel. And maybe that's what I was for him. And while we were connected, we could forget the darkness in the middle. He helped me back then all those years ago when I was just a little girl, and he's still helping me now. You see, my love, after knowing Hans and the way we connected, how could I ever be afraid of a little thing like